Making sure you can see my desk. So there we go. I don't think anyone's here yet. I'm just making sure I'm set up. I'm a little bit early, a few minutes early. So if anyone has any questions at any point, I should be able to see them. So let me know. I am filming it this way today because I am on location. I'm not at home. So I am joining in from location. Hi, Awinda, really lovely to see you. Can you hear me okay? Just quickly checking if my sound works okay. There we go. So, welcome. Thank you so much for joining in, everyone. I am on location and I have my little travel sketchbook with me. So this is what we're going to work on. Thank you for letting me know. That is fantastic to know that the sound is good. This is my little travel sketchbook. You can see it's very small. It is a sketchbook that I like to use when I'm traveling out and about. It's been all over the world. This is my third sketchbook. Hi, Emily and Carol. Lovely to see you. This is my travel sketchbook. So just putting my thumb over my address. I always put it in case I lose it. So I use this sketchbook when I'm out and about. I have filled quite a few of these already, and I often use it to create, as you can see, quite loose and messy sketches that I sketch on location, sometimes really quick, sometimes I have a little bit more time. And this is what I'm going to use today as well. I'm not going to use watercolors, I'm only going to draw in ink. You can see that sometimes I add some watercolor to the paper and sometimes I just draw in ink. Sometimes I draw the people that I see on the train and sometimes buildings. So I just usually use this to draw from life, from whatever I'm seeing in the moment. Sometimes my own feet. If you don't know what to draw, you can always draw your own hands or your own feet. And this is the sketchbook that I'm going to use today. So I'm just quickly flipping through all these different pages to give you a little bit of an idea what I use this for. This was a different live session. You can watch this back on YouTube if you wanted to do that. This also was part of that same live session. And I'm just skipping through to the last pages that I wanted to show you. And this is like pattern creation technique that I wanted to practice a bit today. And I really love that you can use very minimal materials. I have just two fine liners here that I'm going to use. They're both the same size 5 size. You can use a slightly thicker or slightly thinner pen. And I wanted to use this technique, not exactly the same, but the meditative, calm pattern making technique to fill some pages today. So anyone can join in, doesn't matter if you have any experience drawing or not. Create a sketchbook page. I have done 2 here. I did those in the train the other day, and I'm going to start on a new page and use that for today's drawing session. So, oh, excuse me, sorry, I had to sneeze. So there we go. So all you need for today's drawing is paper. I'm using a sketchbook, but you can join in with any paper that you like, and a pen. And I like to draw in fine liner. I use fine liner a lot for lots of drawings in this book. This is all in fine liner and then combined with paint. Today I am just going to use fine liner, but you can join in with any pen that you prefer. So really simple. You can use a color pencil as well. You don't need to use pen. And I made a little bit of a plan beforehand of what I wanted to, what type of pattern I wanted to make. And I decided to divide this paper into sections first. So if you're joining in and you're drawing along, you can do the same. So grab your paper and we're going to divide it in some sections first. There we go, just diving straight in there. I will tell you a little bit more about where I am and why I'm not at home and in my studio today in a moment. So I am dividing my paper into pie slices. So, if you find it hard to draw a straight line, then try to not use your wrist. So keep your wrist straight and then just use your entire arm to draw the line. If you draw from your wrist, you very quickly get a curve because your hand creates that curving motion. So if you find it difficult to draw a straight line, focus on just using your entire arm instead of using your wrist. So see if that makes a difference, if that makes it a little bit easier. I'm going to fill these pie points, these pieces of pie, with different shapes and different patterns. So I'm going to have a little bit of fun with this. I'm just going to start with this first one. And I'm going to start with a pattern that is a little bit curved. So when you're ready to join in, I'm just making sure that I'm sharp. I think I am. So I'm starting with almost like fish sort of scales, little U, like letter U shapes. So going down. So if you've been drawing with me before, I know that there's a few familiar faces here that I've met a few times before, and some loads of times. Some of you have been here loads of times, which is wonderful. But if you're new to me, then know that I like to dive straight into the drawing, whatever the drawing or the painting is that we're making. I like to just dive straight in there, do a minimal introduction, and then just go straight for the drawing or the painting. And one of the reasons I do that is because I like to sort of take away that moment of overthinking. Because I think a lot of people want to make art of some kind, whatever that might mean for you. They want to make art, but then they have a white piece of paper and then they start overthinking it, making it more complicated in their heads than it actually needs to be. And then because of that, they sort of get blocked a little bit. So I invite you to try not to overthink it. Try not to be a perfectionist. If you create these shapes that I'm creating now and they're really wonky or they're all in different sizes, then that is okay. Don't worry about it. Mine are not all the same size. I think it looks pretty consistent here, but I think, yeah, some are definitely a bit bigger than others. The trick to what I'm doing in this pattern is to create one line of these U shapes and then have the next one sort of touch the middle of the hop above. See? So because every time I touch the middle of the scale, if you sort of call this fish scales, of the one underneath, I have a curve here. There we go. That's going to be the last one. I do want to add a little bit more detail to this, but I think I'm just going to leave this for what it is for now. So anyone who's joining in can catch up. You can see how every pattern starts. So I'm just moving on to the next pie piece, and I want to make this into a different type of pattern. So I'm going to divide this into other points. See, there we go. And I think making something like this is the most relaxing way of drawing. So really, see, there we go. That's already the second one. I think that as soon as we go into smaller and smaller detail, and I find it a really great way of sort of relaxing my mind and really easing into that process of drawing. So I've done two already. For those of you who just joined, I started with the zigzag shape on my page, and I'm now starting to add in different patterns in each of these pie slices. So I'm going for the next one, a bit of a wavy shape. So let me do 2 lines. Should I do 3? So there we go. And then a little bit of space, and then I'm doing a similar shape. So I always go quite fast in my classes, in my Zoom classes and community events, but also here on YouTube. And I do that for a reason. I do that also, so similar to why I immediately dive into the drawing, I do that to stop people from overthinking and to becoming too perfectionist. Perfectionism really kills creativity. So see, there we go. We already have 3 slices. In each of these, I am going to add more detail, but this is just the initial shape, sort of divider, the sort of setup for these shapes. So for this one, I'm going to create almost like blobs of ink, water splashes, however you want to call it. So maybe some touch the side. So are you drawing along, or maybe you're working on a different project, or maybe you're just watching? Let me know. I'm really curious. I always love to hear what everyone's doing and where you're from. I know there's always a lot of people from the States here. It's a bit of a mid-morning practice for you all. There we go. And if you here are curious about my illustration practice and they want to know sort of a bit more business insight of what it is like to sell your art, just have a quick sip of tea here. This is my cup of tea. And patterns always work really well. It's a really fun way of starting a creative practice. So if you're new to illustrations and you find it hard to do portraits and landscapes, you don't really know where to start. If you find this fun, this is a really great practice to start with. Patterns are used for so many different things as well. For fabrics and all sorts of. There we go. This is a good way to start sort of generating some ideas as well. So it's a very meditative, fun practice, but if it's also something you can take further if you want to. You don't have to, of course. I think the idea that everything always needs to make money is not true. It's absolutely fine to do hobbies just for the joy of it and not selling any of your artwork. So I've sort of moved on to the next. Keep my my spaces not too narrow, so I have a bit of space to add in some things. And here I'm adding in a few dots because I already had a bit of an idea of creating little sunny shapes here. So I don't mind that these sort of these stripes that I'm adding in, that they're not perfectly well spaced, but if you want to do it a bit more precise, you can do sort of top and bottom first, left and right first, it's a bit crooked, and then fill in the gaps in between. That's not actually very even, is it? But you understand what I mean. I usually just go around the edge and then see. Either the last one is going to be a bit wider or a bit narrower. I like a bit of irregular shapes anyway. It doesn't all have to be perfect. So there we go. What should I do for this next one? I think I might divide this into finer lines. So again, if you find it hard to draw straight lines, try to not use your wrist, but to use your entire arm. It makes it much easier to create those stripes. So, and then on this one, I am going to also create a type of shape. So there we go. So you can see quite quickly, in 15 minutes, we have some pie pieces ready on the paper. And I'm going to add more detail to this now. So I will move this a little bit more to the middle. I hope you can all see it okay. I have set up my screen as being horizontal today. So hopefully you see it all horizontal as well. Well, that's what I'm hoping for anyway. I was going to tell you why I am on the road, right? Ooh, I just bumped into my camera. I am on my way to Germany at the moment to attend the Creative World Fair there, where I'm hoping to learn lots about new art materials and make connections with brands and find out all the new sort of inventions and paints and pens and everything that everything that's new on the market for the coming year. So I'm hoping to learn there and find inspiration, try out art materials, and maybe also make some brand connections. So this is why I am not at home, I am on the road. And I am trying not to cancel any of these events. So if I can, from a hotel or from wherever I am, I try to, where possible, carry on with these events. So you can see what I'm doing. We have these like little U shapes, and I am creating just a little dark space at the top of each of these shapes, like in that narrow part. So you can see how that instantly is a bit more like feathers or a slightly different vibe. So do you start to ease into this process already? I think there's something about repetition, about repetitive moves and repetitive shapes that is super soothing for our brains, super calming in a busy day. So I hope that I'm definitely starting to feel more calm, and even the traveling can be quite stressful. Doing something like this is a really great way of grounding yourself. It's almost like meditation. There we go. Even with all the chatting that I'm doing, I still feel really calm. I'm just going to carry on for this entire space. So I hope I can actually get to the fair, because I have to take a train there, and there's lots of train strikes in Germany. So let's see if I will actually make it there. I'll give you an update next week to let you know if I made it or not. So this might all just be a dream at this moment of time, and I might never make it to the fair, but hopefully it should. And you joined in later. I'm sort of inspired by these patterns that I've created in the past. I actually really liked this one. This was a very lovely, soothing pattern. This one took quite a long time, but it was really fun to make. And I'm doing something a little bit similar, but a slightly bit busier, because I'm doing lots of different sections on this page. I know that some of you might just join in because you saw this popping up as a live session on YouTube, but you might also have bought a ticket over Eventbrite. And the reason I'm listing it on Eventbrite is just to let people know that this event is on. So I'm just trying to think what to do here at the bottom. Here, making a zigzag shape in that particular shape that I created. What was I saying? Oh yeah, the reason I'm listing it on Eventbrite is just to notify more people that this is on. And also because when I first started to do live sessions, I wasn't really sure if anyone wanted to join in. So it was a really great way for me to figure out if that was the case. And it turned out that quite a lot of people were interested and wanted to join in, which is really amazing and really lovely. And some of you have left me really generous donations there. So if, of course, you're very, very welcome to join in without a donation. Everyone is welcome. But I just wanted to say thank you to the people who have, because I really appreciate it. And it's such a kind thing to do. There we go. See, I'm creating a zigzag shape here. If you have any questions about anything, feel free to ask away. I can read the chat. I've copied. There we go. So I want this shape to be a little bit different. So maybe I will just make that a bit darker. See if I just color this in. So sorry if my hand blocks the camera a little bit here and there. So this is not the best pen to color in an entire section, but for a little bit here, that's okay. I just wanted to divide these spaces a little bit. So, there we go. I want this to feel like it's really consistent, whatever I'm creating. So, what else have I been up to? I'm going to work on a really interesting art project for the next month, where I can't really tell you too much about it yet, but I'm going to create a piece of art for a health institute, sort of where I show more about a specific disease. Yeah, to sort of breach the make like a bridge between art and science, which I think is going to be fantastic. I'm really looking forward to that. I'm running quite a lot of community events as well. On the 4th of February is the next creative community event, and we are going to draw in color. Is that true? I don't always travel. At the time I just work in my home studio, or I go to my studio and work from there. For sure, if it's the best event for that, because a lot of publishers and lots of things you can join into, and that's great to learn from. Yeah, just loads of fun, very inspirational. So I would really recommend it for anyone who would like to illustrate more children's books. So just adding in a few more. There we go. So you can see slowly my page is filling up. What to do with this one? I think I want it a little bit more full. Maybe I'll just add a few more dots. I think I want those these shapes to stand out. I don't want it to be too full, so I think I will sort of leave this page as it is. I'll just add a few more of these little circular dots. There we go. And then for this one, so maybe this one could be full of circles. So have drawing skills where you can just add in shapes, and it's very low pressure. I think that is a really fun way of making art. So there we go. I can move this a little bit more to the middle and I keep going to the side. So you can see this page as well, but you don't really need to say them. So carrying on. It's okay if it's wonky. Doesn't have to be perfect. There we go. I am thinking about reopening my Start Your First Sketchbook course, which is a course I won last year. I'm thinking of reopening it, but I've not 100% decided yet. I was just thinking of adding in some live sessions. Yeah, it'd be a great opportunity for new people to join in. So I'm not quite sure if people are interested at this moment of time. So there we go. And for this one, I am also going to add some spirals. So this is a bit of a concentration moment. Ooh. Okay, that's just a bit random, that's okay. I'm just making it up. I did prepare a little bit because I wanted to have a bit of a plan for what I was going to plan out this entire page. So there we go. What do you reckon? Would you like to carry on? I can do. I don't think I'm going to create something as intricate as this because this took me quite a long time. A whole train journey. It was quite soothing to do. Whilst I was on the train, I was listening to an audiobook. I'm listening to lots of audiobooks at the moment. If anyone listened to books by V.E. Schwab, I think V enjoying her books at the moment. It's a bit of a fantasy author who creates like sort of, it's fantasy, but it's not about dragons, and it's more like mystery, and there's a little bit of magic and yeah, sort of otherworldly things in there, but not like classic fantasy with wizards and goblins or aliens, nothing like that. But I'm really enjoying the books. You know what? I just add a little bit more in this one, and then I think that is what I'm going to finish with. So okay, there we go. I just really love audiobooks. I think it is. But when you're drawing, you can't really watch TV. You can't really do other things. I think multitasking is something that we should sort of try and do a bit less of anyway. Doing multiple things at the same time, your brain just switches back and forth between different activities really quick. So multitasking doesn't really exist. But it's really nice sometimes to listen to something whilst you're drawing. So whether it's me talking in your ear or listening to an audiobook, that's something that I really like. So I think I'm going to say this page is finished. I only used one pen. That happens, but it didn't. So there we go. This is our page for today. Thank you so much for joining in. And next week, I'm back in the studio. So same time, 3 o'clock on Thursday. Feel free to join in. Put up on the description what we're going to make beforehand, but sometimes I'm a little bit late with that. So thank you so much for joining in, and I hope you embraced a little bit of wonky drawing. So this is my final one, and I really love having, because it's only Thursday, but I hope you all have really loved lovely rest of your day and a really lovely weekend to come. I'll let you know what happened at this fair, and we'll see each other soon. Now let's see how I can turn this off. This is slightly different from at home when I have my computer. Okay, there